This is a video for those of pure light. So there's a difference between the two videos that I do. Um, Morning motivation for the average person is for everyday people, for what we go through and things that apply that, we can look at situations in our lives in a different way. What pure light is all about, whenever I do something, it's for people of pure light. This pure light is for those who we can speak without words. So therefore, um, we understand things in a way of what's really taking place. There's two different realities in which we all exist. We exist in this physical plane, but then there's people of pure light that understand things in a different way. That they understand how their spiritual being is put forth into like an avatar, where we we've existed. So it's hard to explain to the average everyday person, but I think I can put it to you like this. Um, when we talk about the universe and we talk about how we came to be, we talk about everything. We talk about this Big Bang, but throughout this Big Bang, the first thing that they said was the beginning for humanity were like these little small microscopic what do they call them? Not amoebas. They call them like these little microscopic microbes. Okay, so you think about these microscopic microbes, and these microbes uh, have intelligence because they became us. If this is where we came from, so you take that same concept. One of the uh, facts that we can't get by is that the world itself, this earth, is made up of over 70% water. And at some point it's going to be even more, and in the past it has been more. So we know that this effect takes place, but 70%, so it's 30% of the land. But then take that on a higher scale, so say that's that small biological uh, microorganism that is becoming us on Earth, and you spread that out and spread it across all of the visible universe, over everything that we can see and things that we can't see. And one of the most prevalent elements when you look at where possibilities of life is water. It's hydrogen. So we think that, to come back to a smaller realm, which is Earth, we say, okay, well, the waters are filled with all different types of fish. So what if we were looking for alien life? So now I'm going away from everything for a minute, but say we were going away and we were looking for alien life in the universe. But what if, since everything started off from these little things that we couldn't see into us, what if there were these like worms, like little worms, no bigger than the size of my hand, just floating around everyone's body? And we know that there's a weight that leaves humanity when we die, and we say that's the soul. It weighs 1 ounce. I know there's discrepancies and all that, but we know it to be true. For those of pure light, we know it to be true. But I want to get into the subject because I don't want to stay too long on this. I want to go into uh, why I brought up that whole scenario of what I just spoke on. And today's topic is you are an island to yourself. And one thing that I hear that is across the board is that people with pure light, they know that there's a path that they have to walk away from things, and they accept that. That's all a part of the God mind, because we're understanding what the God mind is and how the God mind works. So it's not family, friend, uh, everything that we own or obtain. We understand that we're spiritual beings, and we took on these physical forms. No matter how we got here, we asked, or we were selected, as I've heard another content creator put it. But you're right, and we're here, and we're being awoken. And again, I'm going with another same content creator. You're right, and so many of the things that you're speaking about. And this is what I try to explain to people with pure light. You don't have to point to who these people are to do it, because the only way you can find truth and to find light is for you to seek it for yourself. because no one can give you the answer. Just like us who have attained pure light, we're only a piece of a puzzle. And I got my pad in front of me because I want to stay on this. And if you want to understand how this light works and how it agrees with what people of pure light who are really, really preaching the lessons learned from pure light, is the Essenes. We can go back to the Essenes because if anyone knows anything about the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Essenes were the ones who were also known as the people of light, the enlightened ones, or yeah, children of light. So they were followers of the light. So they were like who we are in this present day. So again, I'm going again with only one contact creator, and you're correct, exactly correct in what it is that you're saying. So we know that we as a generation have it, but let's look at what the Essenes were saying back at that time. You know, most people say, oh, the Dead Sea Scrolls, it agrees with the book of Isaiah, and it's word for word. It means the Bible is true. No, there were other books that they had also found there at that site. And a lot of those books contradicted the one small piece from Isaiah. But one thing that is undisputable in regards to those texts and everything, they were all found at the same time. So even if we don't agree on what is religious in some of the apocryphal books, many of the apocryphal books, which outnumbered these books that were accepted, um, the apocryphal books that were written at that time explain the same history in the two. So this is why I say all things tie in together. You cannot turn around and take on one. You just can't do it. And so now I want to go even deeper with people of pure light. I know this is kind of long, but follow and know your light and know how your purpose takes place in your own realm, because we're all a part of the God mind. So each one of us has our specific place within this harmonic wave that's going out, and this is the consciousness in which we're trying to reach. So to get away from it for a minute, that's where families tie in, because families in social life and everything else is also, these are all like, put it like a virus. Like you sit on your computer and you're typing things into your computer, and then all of a sudden you stop typing and the typing keeps on going. You're like, wait a minute, hold on. You stop it, restart it again, you do the same thing, and you realize that there's somebody on the other end, which is known as a bug, which is also known as a virus. But do you know that we, as a virus, we have a biological defense mechanism, which is in our DNA. It's written into our genetic code. And this virus protector is called shame. So shame, and I know I'm going into it, and I know I'm going deep, so I want to say how you come up into pure light. So shame is one of the things where I speak about, where I say that you have to accept your faults as well as your strengths and everything else. You have to accept it all, but you also have to be willing to reflect and be brought to shame. And I want to give you the definition of shame really, really quick, because we've been taught that shame is a negative thing to go through. And there's a lot of people, they go to an extreme. They're actually willing to, take a life just to hide their shame. But let's look at what this word is and look at how far humanity has been manipulated. We were at that point at one point as well. Shame is defined as a painful feeling of humiliation or a pain or a distress caused by consciousness of wrong or foolish behavior. That is a good thing. And we've been taught to fear it. We've been taught to hate it. We've been taught to shame it. We've been taught to point fingers at everywhere else. This is another mechanism where I talked about where these dice were thrown out. These dice were thrown out with love. But it didn't want to come up with craps, and it didn't want to come up with everything being dark, and it didn't want to come up with everything being fire. So we are an island to ourselves. And we're each here for a specific purpose and for a specific reason. And we each exist within our own realm, within this whole infinite sheet that has been spread out through all these different realities. not just the physical world that we're here on this planet within uh, our own universe, but we know to be a fact that these big bangs are continuous, and there's other universes, and we are existing within those universes. So when we stop, it's almost like going to a rest area, and you say, hey, I got to use the bathroom, but I'm only going here. Stop at this rest place. We've been traveling for now for like 70 miles. Stop at this rest area, and we're going to keep going. Now you stop at this rest area, and you go into the rest area, and you think that you're just going to walk out, and everything is just going to flow. But then you walk out, and then all of a sudden there's a traffic jam, and you can't even get back onto the highway. So this is the break that we're taking in here, and I think what our mission is, our overall purpose is to say that everything can coexist, because that was the original flow, which flowed through time and which flowed through space. Only a person that has attained pure light can understand what is being said, because history and our time has explained that. So to end it, take your DNA, take my DNA, not together, take our DNA, and each person take their DNA, and name a place anywhere within time and space with that same exact DNA exist anywhere else. Anywhere else. You got trillions and billions and more than what you can number, but name something that has that little strand, that DNA code, how it's written, in your body. Name a place anywhere where that exists, or where scientists say that can exist. Something that they can't, something that they won't. So everything on this, everything that we see visible and invisible has its purpose. And that purpose is you are your own island. So what is it, what part of that island that you represent going to exist within the grand scheme of things? It can be a positive energy, or it could be a negative energy. But for those who are continuing to bring the message of pure light, thank you. Thank you so much. And for that, everyone, with pure light, have the most beautiful day. Have an awesome day. Be blessed in every way. And with that,